The Braves continue to be at the top of their game. Of course, tops in the National League and second best record in the entirety of Major League Baseball. And Jarvis, it's so important to mention that because this is a team that is now up 7 games on both the Mets and Marlins, both of whom they've played and beaten them, gotten those
Right.
series, got the sweep
Yeah.
over the Marlins. And then you come back and you start the homestand with a very good Baltimore Orioles team, a sneaky good team that a lot of people are just, it's kind of under the radar, right?
Right.
And they were able to bounce back from losing the first game and winning those last two. But boy, did I really like the Sunday win. The
Yeah.
reason being because, Jarvis, we got to see everything that you and I have talked about needing to see and wanting to see from the Braves. A 3-2 win in extras. Well, Michael Harris II hits a double for a walk-off, right? So it doesn't have to be the long ball. You can get a double to get a win if that's what it takes. Bryce Elder, even in a losing effort, we got what we needed to see out of him as well, right? And then you talk about the defense. We were very excited for Braves country to be able to say Orlando Arcia is back. That is so
Yeah.
powerful because we say it all the time that the Braves are a deep team and that Alex Anthopoulos is always thinking one step ahead. But there's nothing like a healthy Braves team because when they are healthy, they are dangerous, Jarvis. And especially on defense in a close game like the game we saw Sunday, let's talk first about that. How important was it to see the likes of what RC was able to do as well as Ronald Acuna Jr.?
Yeah, I think RC is huge, right? Because when you look at and watch some of the guys, in their post game comments, not necessarily downing Von Grissom, but like just knowing to have a guy in that spot and know exactly what to expect is what Austin Riley said. Like, you know what to expect. You know what you're going to get from him. And that is a powerful arm. He's going to make all the routine plays, make them look easy, and he's going to be right there and do what he needs to do. And, hopefully he gets back to hitting the ball like he was before he went down. Yeah, with the microfracture that he had. So all of those things kind of come into place, and he started to it got me thinking, T, like, based off of where this team is, and Uncle Ron started talking about that. This is Ron Washington. He started talking about it as well, just like, given where this team is right now, the veteran-laden team, the contender for a World Series team that they are right now, they don't need any mishaps. They don't need, especially at that position, because that's one of the most important positions on the field, T. So when you have all of those things coming into play, and you kind of understand where they say, okay, Orlando Arcia didn't have a rehab assignment. All right, cool. That's fine. But as long as you're okay, he said, I'm all right. I'm ready to roll. I don't need a rehab assignment. I'm ready to roll. Those are the type of decisions that you can make when you have veterans on the team, when you're trying to contend for a World Series. And people understand that these games early on, I know that people may say, oh, it's 162 games, they don't really mean anything, but they mean something when you're trying to contend for a World Series.
Yeah, and sometimes we all fall in love with the shiny toy, right? And
Oh,
so
yes,
Vaughn
absolutely.
Grissom and Michael Harris II, they both came out all guns blazing, and Spencer Strider as well, came out
Yes.
all guns blazing. So of course we were thinking that Vaughn Grissom is probably the heir apparent to Dansby Swanson. That just makes for that's logical.
Right.
However, what's also logical is this. I remember a teacher telling me this once. Everybody can't make A's. Everybody in the class can't make A's, and it's all good. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that the debate team or any other competitive group can't win if there's somebody who's making B's or even somebody who's making C's, because we need all the players, because a lot of times those C guys, that's your steady person, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes your B person is your steady person. I think Orlando Arcia is kind of that guy who maybe
Right.
falls under the radar sometimes because he wasn't the shiny new toy, but he
Mm-hmm.
is the most consistent guy. And I love the fact that you pointed that out, that consistency is what wins you games just as much as the shiny toy. And sometimes you got to kind of send the shiny toy back because maybe it's still a little rough around the edges. Maybe it's still a diamond in the rough. And granted, they made the decision to keep Braden Shoemake up on the 26-man roster, which, hey, that's a encouraging sign for him. But also, I love the fact that Vaughn Grissom has shown a lot of maturity and a lot of patience and understanding that, hey, until they see what they want to see, maybe I have to go back down to AAA, and RC is ready and available. Also, man, was it exciting to see Rasiel Iglesias back? I mean,
Yes, T.
perfect
Yes.
innings.
Yeah.
striking them out, just looking so strong, so steady, so confident. And that goes back to the Braves don't have to rush anyone back. So if they didn't feel like RC was ready, if they didn't feel like Iglesias was ready, they wouldn't have rushed them back. But Iglesias showed us big time just how much he was ready in this entire series. Just lights out once again. I mean, literally pitched two perfect innings, two strikeouts. He's just that guy.
Yeah, that's the most encouraging part, right? Like not only Orlando RC again back and giving us that consistency that we need defensively for the Atlanta Braves, but like solidifying and locking up the back end of that closer role, and moving AJ Minter and back into a role where I feel like everybody's a little bit would be a little
Yes,
bit
more
more comfortable
comfortable.
with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think like it just looks so easy for him, and just even when he came in on Saturday, and he was coming in and closing the door, and then coming in on Sunday and making sure that the lead stayed tied, so they can go into extra innings. So I think all of those things kind of like make you look at it from a standpoint of like, all right, you got your guy back, and this is the guy that we saw last year, and that's one of the things that you got to always kind of take in consideration too. Like those expectations got to change a little bit when the guys are coming off injury, because you never know how it might respond. Because we've seen Kyle Wright. Oh yeah, he's fine. Everything is good. He had the cortisone shot. He'll be good. No more pain.
No more
Now
information
he had
and
no more information, and like here we go. We're right back at it again. Right back at square one. So for him to come out and give us those two perfect innings like he did, I feel like the Braves are really going to start to cook now, because you know exactly who's coming in, and you know exactly what he's going to do when he does, and that's going to close the door.
And speaking of cooking, Michael Harris II, again, he gets the walk-off double. He gets the Braves to the win yesterday. But what I loved about it was the swag he showed. He was, and I'm proud of myself and how I'm going to say this. He was so
Yes.
Atlanta. In his
Yes, of
post-game
course.
presser, he said, quote, I was having some good at-bats all game. So to see them walk Ozuna and want to have to face me, it kind of put a fire in my you know what. I got up there first pitch and tried to hit something hard, and I did. I said, Jarvis, this is the kind of swag. This is the kind of don't mess with me. Don't come for me when I didn't send for you. I love it. And then all of it at the end of the game with
Yeah.
all of it's and the reason I say this is because that is the kind of confidence that you want to see in your team, up, down, successful, failing, whatever, staying on
Yes.
top and believing, but we're that team and I'm that guy. That's what you have to see. I believe also we love everything else that we're seeing with the Braves, but one of the reasons that this also works is because Jarvis, they deliver. So
Yeah.
when you see Acuna Jr. showing us, what are we, 5 weeks into the season, and we've already seen all five tools from him,
Yeah.
and he brings that. So that's to me, that's a critical component as well, because that's the kind of thing that when you get into a hole, for example, whether it's a scoring hole or you've had some miscues or errors, that's the kind of thing you need to see in order to say, yeah, this team will bounce back regardless.
Yeah, like it's that confidence and consistency. Those are the overall theme here on ATL Day Ones. T. Yeah, I think that those guys, we know what they're going to bring to the table. It's just a matter of them just remaining healthy, and like over 162 game season. I mean, it's kind of you're being a little optimistic, more so, expecting them to be healthy the entire time. But when they're not out there, they have some viable guys that can come in and fill in the gaps until they come back and get this bad boy back rolling.
Yeah, speaking of confidence and consistency, we are confident that you guys are going to keep coming back here each and every day. Why? Because you've been consistent for over a year, and we appreciate you stopping
Yes.
by ATL Day Ones. You guys are with us on YouTube. We appreciate you. I went out to an event this weekend, saw one of our fans. He said, hey, thanks for doing what you guys do. Keep on doing it. So thank you, Coach Eddie. We appreciate the support. And don't forget to go out and tell some friends, because not only can you catch us on YouTube, or not only can you download us wherever you download your podcast, but we got a little something cooking with Sirius XM that you guys need to definitely be aware of. So yeah, ATL Day Ones and our Locked On Sports Atlanta family, and really the whole Locked On Sports Network, doing big things, and we're doing it because of you, our everydayers.